to want me.
From Big L to Tupac, the Tribe Called Quest, it's a prophet. In other words, the guy that's next. It's the realest. Only unto the real shall I reveal this. Logic made this beat himself just so y'all can feel this. From Big L to Tupac, a Tribe Called Quest, it's the prophet. In other words, the guy that's next. See, I'm just trying to be the greatest, get my name elevated so that I'll be celebrated instead of getting negated. Seeing through a different vision. Someone on a mission to share my thoughts on the track.
Good afternoon, good morning, everyone. We are back broadcasting to you live from the basement of La Penta. It is AM Sports with Sax, Madeo, and Edwards. Good morning, fellas.
Good morning, Ian. How you doing?
Good morning, Ian.
Good. Yeah. I'm doing pretty good. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Good.
Well, not bad. Not bad.
Yeah. Just another typical Thursday here in the studio WICR. All right, we have a great show for you guys planned today. Another show chock full of NBA action, and the All-Star break has been about 2 weeks or 3 weeks now. Should be 3 weeks ago. So we've had enough time to see how teams are doing since the break. So we're going to be assessing our NBA teams, and in this segment we are going to be talking about the hottest team since the All-Star break, and also the team that we think is going to continue their hot streak and make a push into the playoffs. So I'll open the floor up to you guys first. Who is the hottest team since the All-Star break, and is that team going to continue their hot streak for the rest of the regular season?
All right. Well, when it comes to me, in terms of this, I kind of broke it up. I have who I feel like has been the hottest team since the All-Star break, but in terms of making a push for the rest of the season, I have a separate team. But here's what I mean. To me, right now, the hottest team since the All-Star break, in my eyes, is the Houston Rockets. As of January 1st, they have had the league's best record since that period of time at 20-6. They have won 12 of their last 14 games. In the process of this, Dwight Howard has been averaging 19 points, 12.5 rebounds, and 1.8 blocks. And on Tuesday's victory over the Miami Heat, sure, anybody could make, a plethora of excuses for that, LeBron being exhausted from the 61-point performance of previous night. Dwight Howard had 22 in this game, and also he grabbed 16 boards. And the way I look at it right now, they're currently sitting third in the Western Conference. Do I feel like they're going to rise? No, but they're at the third, and I feel like they'll stay there for the rest of the season. However, like right now, they are riding, a 3-game win streak. And when it comes, they're basically just a bad matchup for anybody, in my opinion. They have a young, youthful bunch of guys who are going to be together in this league for a long time, in my opinion. And that's one team where if they get on a roll in terms of shooting the ball, it's going to be a long night for the opposition. And now, in terms of my team that's going to make a push for the regular season, the rest of the season, as a matter of fact, I have the San Antonio Spurs. Simply because now they have their full squad assembled. We know they've been plagued by injury throughout the majority of this season. They haven't been the healthiest group of people, periodically. It's been Duncan, Parker, Ginobili out, Kawhi Leonard out, Danny Green, etc. But now they have everybody. They have an explosive bench, with Patty Mills, Bellinelli, and Manu Ginobili coming off that bench. Right now they're sitting second spot in the West. They're on a 4-game win streak, and the thing I always love about the San Antonio Spurs, which is why they've been so relevant for so long, always staying in the top 3 in the West. I mean, they play together. They share that basketball. Right now, they're the best 3-point shooting team in the NBA right now. And to me, that comes directly from the open looks they get due to the way they share the basketball. they have the best defense in terms of, preventing the opposition from scoring in the Western Conference at least, and they have the best field goal percentage in the Western Conference. So, like, to me, in my opinion, they are, in terms of the Western Conference, a team that has the best chance of beating the Heat, although there are other teams out west who are a bad matchup for them and can potentially knock them off. However, I feel like they have the best chance of beating the Heat out of those teams. And to me, them coming out of the West is basically going to come down to Durant and KD. If that combination is not going to, go AWOL, is it going to stay solid? Or if it goes bad, to me, the Spurs are coming out of the West. And that would be the Heat's worst matchup coming out of the West.
Yeah, Sean, you made really good points. My team coming out of the All-Star break, who I've been really impressive when watching, has been the Golden State Warriors. They've gone 7-2 since the All-Star break, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tie that in with the playoff picture, with the final 4 spots. Well, the final 3, and then the outside team looking in between Golden State, Dallas, Phoenix, and Memphis. I'm gonna compare and contrast the teams. But Golden State, out of those 4 teams, has been the team on the rise. They've had some notable wins since the All-Star break. As I said before, they went 7-2 so far. They beat the Rockets, who, as Sean said, has been the best team since the beginning of January. The Nets, who have been on the rise. The struggling Knicks, but the Knicks are still a competitive team. And they beat the Pacers. And they beat them on the road. They beat them in the Fieldhouse. So why has Golden State has been emerging into this plethora of a team is because Steve Blake, I think, was a big pickup. He since acquiring him, the Warriors have gone 6-2, and Steve Blake has brought leadership and has been a great asset off the bench. He's been able to combine with him, Jordan Crawford, Harrison Barnes, Draymond Green, and Jermaine O'Neal. That's a pretty good bench, in my opinion, and that could make a deep run, because in order to make it in this league and win, you need to have a good bench, because your starters need rest and your bench needs to step up, and I think that this Golden State bench could help them make a deep run into the playoffs. With the remaining 20 games to go in the season, I see the Warriors climbing up in the win column, but however, I will see them staying as the 6th seed. There are 4 games back of the Clippers and the Trailblazers, and I see the Clippers and the Trailblazers maintaining their records. I don't see them going. In order to gain 4 games, they would have to go on a sort of like a big losing streak, and the Warriors would have to go on some superior win streak, and I don't see the Clippers or Portland doing that. So at this point, I think they're going to stay where they're put at. They have a couple of big games coming up, especially home games. On March 9th, they play the Phoenix Suns, and then 2 days later, the Mavericks come to town. And these 2 games are it's gonna be tough, and it's gonna have playoff intensity, and this will decide where each team will stand. And right now, they're currently 38-24. They're 2 games up on Phoenix and Dallas, and they're 3 up on the Grizzlies, who is the 9th seed right now. The only team out of Dallas, Phoenix, and Memphis that I could see giving Golden State like any competition for that 6th seed over the next 20 games this season is the Dallas Mavericks. Only because Dallas, they have veterans on this team. They have Sean Marion, Dirk, Vince Carter, and even Monte Ellis, who's been in the league about 8 years now. It's been a quick 8 years. I didn't think he was in the league that long, but he is. So I feel like that's the only team, because Dallas is one of the highest scoring teams in the NBA. Dirk can get going wherever he wants. Vince has been one of the best 6-man players in the league this year. He's in the top 5 vote getters for 6-man right now. And Sean Marion is the defensive intimidator. So with this being said, I think the Mavericks are the only team that can give them a spot, give them a chance of sneaking into the 6th spot. The only knock on the Mavericks and why the Warriors could pull away from the Mavericks is the Mavericks I have those 4 teams that I've talked about. The Mavericks have the hardest schedule remaining. More than half of their games are against teams over 500 and are playoff contenders. But the thing about the Mavericks schedule is 14 of their last 20 games are at home. And the Mavericks have been a fairly good team at home this year, knocking up a 19-10 record. So the Suns, on the other hand, they're young and they're fading away. Over the last 13 games, they've lost 7 games. And their opening day expectations are starting to catch up with them. They're starting to become that team where no one thought they would win, and they're starting to struggle and everything. And the whole phase when they were being one of those sleeper teams that were winning all these games is starting to slip away from them. And I honestly, out of all these teams, I think Phoenix is the team that will slip out. I think Memphis has been playing the worst out of all these teams so far this year. They have not been consistent at all. They usually rely on their ruthless defense. They were never known for scoring in the last couple of years. However, during this year, they're not in the top 10 in terms of defensive efficiency. Usually every year they're in the top 5 over the last 3 years. They're not even in the top 10 this year. So at late they've been playing better, but last night they got blown out by Brooklyn. It was just a horrible game. Zach Randolph didn't play. Could have been a big factor, but right now I still see them. Experience will come into factor. Michael Conley, Marcus Gasol, Zach Randolph, and I think they'll slip in as the 8th spot. Dallas will get 7 and Golden State will get 6, and Phoenix will be on the outside looking in. But what do you have, Ian?
Well, I'm also with you guys in the Western Conference. Sean, you actually took my team with the Houston Rockets, as you said, 6-2 since the All-Star break. I think that they might be 13-2 in their last 15 games. In that stretch, that they've topped the Miami Heat and the Phoenix Suns, who, yes, that they are slipping down, but right now they are in a playoff spot. And Houston's just been playing really good basketball over the last 2 months even. And have certainly continued it since the All-Star break. Their 2 losses in their last 15 games have been to Golden State on the road in overtime, and everyone knows Oracle is a tough place to play, and to the Los Angeles Clippers, who are a solid team, right now sitting at 42-20. So certainly, I mean, the Rockets have definitely been a team that's really coming together now, and we're starting to see why they were expected to be one of the elite teams in the NBA this year. And another interesting thing, if the regular season ended today and the playoffs started, right now Houston is sitting in the 3 seed. And Golden State is sitting in the 6th seed.
Houston would not make it out of the first round. I think Golden State would beat them. Honestly,
I agree with you. I think that last season Golden State gained so much experience going into the second round of the playoffs and really taking the Spurs to the limit.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And if you think about it, Houston's they're a new team. Dwight Howard's first season. When does a first team like a first, like when they're all put together for their first season, when do they ever have a great season? Like they're having a good
Miami.
But I'm talking, that's LeBron.
Right. Certainly. But
I just don't see them getting out of the first round. I think Golden State, they've been there last year together as a team. They went through a whole lot of obstacles to get there, and I think Golden State could beat them. Outside James Harden and Dwight, this team is not as fundamentally depth as the Golden State Warriors are. The Golden State Warriors, like I said before, with Steve Blake, Jordan Crawford, Harrison Barnes, Draymond Green, and Jermaine O'Neal, they have a better bench than Houston.
Bench.
Houston bench is horrible.
I agree with you that that if the two played in the playoffs, which we all think is likely that they might match up in the first round in that 3-6. I agree with you that Golden State would beat Houston, but I think that Houston is still going to be that team to really come together in the second half and continue their hot streak, and really just think about the battle that that's going to be in the first round.
Do you guys think the Rockets will finish as the 3rd seed though?
I do.
You do? Because you guys are forgetting about the Clippers. I think the Clippers are gonna...
And Portland. I mean, Portland's tied with Houston right now. They're the same record.
I just think the Clippers
yeah.
are gonna get the 3rd seed. I'm sold
Clippers,
on that.
Portland, and Houston, aren't they all like within the same amount of games away from each other?
I think
Houston and Portland are both 42-19, and the Clippers
Like
are 42-20.
the way I see it shaping up is, you guys see the Thunder finishing first or the Spurs?
Thunder.
Yeah, me too. I see the Thunder, and I think
Same
they're gonna
here.
play Memphis, and then
I think Memphis is going to jump Dallas, and Memphis is going to move up to the 7th spot. Dallas will stay in the 8.
yeah, I have Dallas playing the Spurs in the first round.
The two of them have
Memphis has a lot easier of a schedule. I was looking at the schedule last night. They don't have that many opponents over 500 in the final 20 games.
And they're only 1 game behind Dallas right now.
Yeah.
So that's why.
But the only bad thing about Memphis is both Phoenix, Golden State, and Dallas, they all have the tiebreakers over Memphis. Dallas has won all 3 games. They have 1 more game left against Memphis, but so far Dallas has swept Memphis. So if Memphis was to tie with, say if there was a 4-way tie, Memphis, they would not get in. So that could come into factor down the road.
That's true, but I think that they'll definitely be getting in, because I don't think Phoenix is making the playoffs.
I don't think,
So they don't have to worry about the tie there. So really, the only place that a tiebreaker would factor in would be seeding with them, because Phoenix is going to be on the outside looking in. And okay, so we all agree that Phoenix is going to fall out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right.
They made a good run, but it's not going to last.
Okay, so now Houston, the LA Clippers, and Portland. How do we see those 3 teams finishing up? We all agree that they're the 3, 4, 5 in the West?
Like I said
Absolutely.
before, Golden State's 4 games back, and in order to gain 4 games is a lot, especially with trailing 2 elite teams in the Clippers and Portland and Houston. 3 elite teams, I'm sorry. So, you know what I mean? I don't see that either one of those teams going on a big losing gap in which Golden State can take advantage and move up.
Well, that is all the time we have for the hottest teams in the NBA since the All-Star break. When we come back, we'll be looking at the other end of the spectrum, the coldest teams. So stick around.